I'm going to give you one additional data type, and this data type is called tuples. Now, there is some argument about whether it's tuples or tuples. I prefer tuples because it reminds me of Tupperware, which reminds me of food, which is obviously something I enjoy. So we can call it tuples or tuples. I don't really care. GIF, GIF, it's all the same to me. But tuples is a list type, okay? And here's a couple of examples of tuples. You'll notice that unlike list and dictionary, a tuple is surrounded in parentheses. So it's a list surrounded in parentheses. It is more similar to a list than a dictionary. It is numerically indexed like a list. The big difference between a list and a tuple is immutable. Once you declare a tuple, you cannot add to it, delete from it, change a singular value. You could replace the whole thing. So I could take tup guys and replace everything with something entirely new. But I can't replace Bill with Dave. Can't do that. Can't reorder it. Can't do anything like that. Once you declare it, it's static. And the main thing that tuples are used for, there's really two. Number one thing is a collection of settings or data that's going to be read-only for your application. That's one way. Another way that tuples are commonly used, and you will see this in the later units of the class, tuples are frequently used to pass a piece of data that contains multiple values as an argument to a function. For example, if I had a function where I was putting a dot at a coordinate on my window, I might pass it a tuple that contained coordinates like X and Y. It's a convenient way to group them, and a lot of libraries out there and modules that you can add into Python use tuples as a way of supplying arguments that have multiple values in them. Another common example of a tuple use other than coordinates is RGB color values. So you have a red, green, and blue number. So those would be grouped together and always in that order. So it makes sense to do them as a tuple. But you just need to know that if you see a list that's got parentheses around it, that's what it is. I mostly want you to just recognize what that is when you see it, because you will see it. The parentheses might fool you into thinking, oh, that's some kind of weird function or something. No, if it's a list with parentheses, it's a tuple. And all that means is it's indexed and you can't change it. So it's exactly the same as a list, except you can't change anything about it. And that is a tuple. So let's compare the three list types, just one after the other. This first one is what kind of a list type? Dictionary, right? So we have the key and value pairs, key value separated by commas, and each key value pair is separated by a colon. The second type is a list with the square brackets. Obviously, the dictionary has curly braces, square brackets, and then the last one is a tuple. So those are what the three look like next to each other.